Well, thank you very much for inviting me to give a sort of a keynote to open this panel discussion on digital theater. Digital theater from innovation to mainstream is the title I decided to put forward, or no one knows what to expect or what the results will be. Because honestly, it's impossible to compress a whole keynote on digital theater in 15 minutes. Where to start? What's going to be the result out of this discussion today? It's very complex. And even now, in 2020, I often meet people, and it just happened yesterday here in Ars Electronica, who ask me, what actually is digital theater? Something exciting, futuristic, with headsets, or projections and 3D holograms? Something you've never seen before, something new? How can this happen? But new is a relative concept. And what's new to audiences in Minsk might be old news for audiences in Oslo. What's new in Ars Electronica might be something they found in the past. And I think it's worth holding on to this when we think about digital theater. At European Theatre Convention, ETC, the publicly funded theatre network that you kindly introduced, Vanessa, we deal with this like this. Digital theatre uses technology. It is sometimes on a traditional stage and sometimes online or in a hybrid digital space. But digital theatre is not a replacement for in-person theatre, to make this clear, or even the opposite of traditional theatre. It is simply another form of making art, expanding our stage and creative means by trialing new things. And for us, then the answer is to just get started with digital theater. It's about experiment, development, being relevant, go beyond the common practice and strategize to be part of the new mainstream. And all of this can only happen through collaboration. And now we're jumping onto the first point. Experiment. My advice is to simply get started. Make mistakes, learn, use technology in the way that you would use any other tool. When preparing this talk, I went back and thought about the last time I was here in Ars Electronica on a stage presenting the first European digital theatre discussion at the festival. And that was the result of a cross-sectorial international project, the European Theatre Lab, connecting theatre, technology hubs, and art media research institutes. And I believe you still find some of the digital theatre casebooks out here in the lobby to look at. And this project ran from 2018 to from 2016 to 18 and tested new ways of using technology on stage. To give you an idea, here's a clip about one of the 3 international co-productions that we developed, and they used, for example, new audio technology based on the kinetics on sound.
And a very physical theater,
Go ahead.
expressive, like a post-drama
maybe can we
theater.
just stop, because it started in the middle, and play the video again. It's a co-production between the National Theatre in Zagreb and Oslo in Norway.
In the frame of the European Theatre Convention, we developed the beautiful project of cooperation with the Norske Teatret, and Erik Ulf directed the play Pergint in Zagreb using the new technologies, and I directed Miroslav Krleža's play Kraljevo here in the Norske Teatret. And the topic was to develop the new situation for the rehearsals, for the presentations, based on the digital technologies, especially in the sound equipment. And so both Eric and me, with the professors, with the engineers, we developed the special machines who can transform the voices. And then we integrated the new technologies in the frame of the theater, who is the mixture between traditional drama, speaking theater, and the very physical theater, expressive, like a post-drama theater.
Yeah, thanks, Ivica. That was one of the results that we created after 2 years of experimentation. And the project in the end came out with a whole set of reflections and demands for both the creative community and policymakers. And it included back at the time, in 2018, formulations for the need of digital dramaturgies, for new digital strategies, for research and development funds in theater, which really didn't exist back at the time, and simply time to invest to discover this new medium in our context. And this creates the second key point for me when using digital theater. You see it develop. You have to embed digital across the entire organization. And for us, everything in the European Theatre Lab was new in 2018. And it's still new for many people, but by now, there are now digital dramaturgy departments created in the first theaters that we can see around in Europe. And also there is, for example, the Academy for Theatre and Digitality in Dortmund. And I'm happy to have our colleague Michael Eickhoff here with us on stage. So things developed and the groundworks were laid, which put theaters in a very strong position when the pandemic erupted in spring 2020. All theaters were shut down, international touring came to a standstill. To give you an idea what this meant for us, only in between February and June 2020, 5,000 performances got cancelled. This affected 1 million people of the audiences who couldn't go and see any more theatre performances, and in terms of economic impact, it was a loss of income of 61 million euros. So we in ETC and the theatres working with us had to find new ways of reaching audiences, of remaining visible and of remaining relevant. The pandemic really was then a moment that accelerated, nearly with the speed of light, the development, the exchange and circulation of ideas and concepts using digital means. We saw theatres like the Dach Theatre in Kiev develop innovative approaches to digital theatre, connecting with the global Ukrainian community, making theatre that was then translated online, theatre for an online or digital medium, and then theatre that was developed online with the express intention to be taken offline as soon as possible. So throughout this period, we continued experimenting. There were things, you see some of the examples that we did, that worked, and things that obviously didn't work so well. That's okay. That's all part of the process. And for example, we could no longer tour performances, I said so before, you know, the borders were closed. So we decided to bring productions to the audiences otherwise. We collaborated with Schauspielhaus Graz to reach international audiences with their VR production Krasnoyarsk, which was highly acclaimed as well, a really nice production. And we organized the distribution of VR glasses that were previously loaded up with the performance to all of our over 40 theaters at the time across Europe. Instructions were included on how to send the still very highly expensive VR glasses back once the theaters had watched the performance. Well, you can guess what happened. Let me tell you, it was really a challenge to collect everything again, and I would really not recommend using this way of circulating performances on a larger scale.